Hi, Nigel Baker here from Arch Capital, and I'm here with Josh Smythe. How are you, Josh?
Good, thanks Nigel, how are you?
Good. A lot of news this week, and in particular around superannuation. I think there's been apparently around 70 changes to the legislation in the last 20 years or so. What happened this week, Josh?
Yeah, well, it's been an ongoing sort of conversation for over a year now, with the government originally introducing some proposed changes to super for those with higher member account balances over 3 million. Originally proposed to apply an additional 15% tax on those balances, but importantly the original draft included tax on unrealised gains, which obviously caused a bit of controversy and discussion with industry, and ever since they announced the policy, really they've been in discussions to review that.
Great. So Treasurer Chalmers this week made some changes and has announced those. They're not legislated yet, but what are the key changes?
Yeah, the key change really is that, well, first and foremost, they won't be taxing unrealised gains. There will still be an additional 15% tax on balances over 3 million and under 10 million of 15%, but it'll only be on realised earnings. And the additional difference is for balances over 10 million, there'll be an additional 25% tax, so taking the total tax up to 40% for realised gains on balances over 10 million.
Okay, so the 3 million is still there. I believe also it's now going to be indexed, so that will go up over time. And there's a new one of 10 mil. So we're sort of there's some sort of good news with it, the unrealised gains part, but the bad news is there still is a new tax and more complication, more things to digest. So for those with balances, when will this come into effect, if it does come into effect?
Well, originally it was supposed to come into effect this financial year, 1 July, but it's been pushed to 1 July in 2026.
Okay. So for all those who have got balances near or thereabouts or over these balances, we'll be in contact over the next few weeks, once we of course get a bit more detail. There's also an impact on those with defined benefit funds. Typically, they're not as common these days, but what will happen with defined benefit pensions?
So the government has announced that they will treat defined benefit pensions fairly and in line with other balances. However, there's no detail on how they will calculate that, so there'll be further consultation in terms of how that is calculated. And I think overall the important thing to remember is this is not legislation yet. It's still a draft proposal. I've already seen different factions of government, either agreeing with or disagreeing with this. So there may be some issues in the Senate, not sure yet, but it is just still, draft legislation at this stage.
Okay, well, lots to digest there. Obviously, please reach out, call. There'll be a lot of press again this weekend, I imagine, in the major papers and in headlines. So if you have any questions, please call us. And thanks, Josh, for the research.
Thanks,
the
Nigel.
update.
Cheers.